Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Purple Penny coin video. As you can see, Catherine has decided to join us today, so thanks Catherine for joining in today.
No worries.
My name is Mark and this is Catherine. We run the Purple Penny, which is a small coin business in the northern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. We've been doing these videos for a couple of years now on Mondays at about this time, so it's great to be able to connect with everyone out there in internet land via Facebook and then watching it afterwards on YouTube. So we'll just say hello to a few people here. We've got, if we can just get that out of the way, we've got Mike. Hello Mike.
Hi Mike.
And Rob and Clay and Patrick, who is a shop regular here. Paul, Tanya.
Yep.
Yep. I think we've already said hello to Paul Spink, but hello again, Paul Spink. Chris, Gary, a friend of ours up in far north Queensland. Hey Gary, good to see you, mate. And of course, because Catherine's here, we're getting a lot more comments than usual because she's far more popular than I am. Darren, John, Peter, Paul, David. Hello everyone, thanks for joining in today. So last week in the shop was the end of the financial year, so we spent far too much time on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday doing a stock take.
Counting.
Counting, yes, there was lots of counting. So as such, there wasn't a whole lot of new inventory stuck up on the website. I've popped up some sixpences this morning and I'll get some more stuff up later in the week, so apologies for those who like their new coins listed on Mondays and Tuesdays. There was a lot of silver that came in last week, a lot of pre-decimal silver, quite a few kilos of that. I'm not quite sure why. A couple of interesting military items, but no real interesting numismatic coins that I can think of. But it was busy during the week, but on Saturday it was nice and quiet, and that was good because it allowed Catherine and I and Jared, the young man who comes in and helps us on Saturday, to get a whole pile of stuff done. And hopefully when you come into the shop next time, you'll see that there's some new things available to buy.
Well, I don't know about you, but I goofed off after we'd finished the stock take, so I just said, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, it was a bit that way. We'd had some very long days on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday trying to keep on top of all of that, so yeah, I can understand why we goofed off. Right, have we got any more hellos here before we jump into the news? Hello Paul from Perth. David is a regular. David watches most weeks. Right, let's jump on to the news slide. I think this by Catherine. She's just behind the slide there. I think this might be my last week of
tracking the B prices.
Yeah, I think I've just about had enough of it. The lowest I saw B security rolls sell for this week was $70 on eBay, and I did note that some of the hello Marley, our daughter is watching today. Hello at home on school holidays. I did notice that some of the regular Facebook sellers of B-rolls have resorted to trying to swap them rather than sell them, because I think the market is fairly saturated. Auction results for RAM rolls this week were between $132 and $170, so you know they seem to have settled it down quite a bit, certainly down about $100 on what they were about 6 weeks ago. C mint marks, there was a bunch of them that auctioned on eBay this week for between $17 and $19, and after you take out eBay fees, I think those people are barely breaking even. The July Royal Australian Mint release is happening on Thursday. We'll just pop Catherine back here because she can tell us about the RAM release that's happening on Thursday, because I can never remember what it is.
Kookaburra.
Kookaburra. And what's
half gram fine gold mini kookaburra. You might remember whenever that was last year, we had a mini gold koala, which is the $2 denomination. This time we're seeing a $5 denomination, same style, same specs apart from the denomination, half a gram fine gold, a little kookaburra in a little slab looking presentation case. from the Royal Australian Mint retails at $90.
What do you think about them changing denomination from $2 to $5?
Might just knock the popularity on the head.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they've done that either. In the news this week, we'll just talk about Zimbabwe first. Zimbabwe, that wonderful African country that has such a great control over their economy. You think we're in trouble here having inflation of 7%. They're expecting inflation of 170%, which sounds pretty awful, but back in 1999 and 2000, they actually had yearly inflation of about 2,500%. So in relative terms, 170% isn't doing too badly for them. And their mint, in an effort to, I guess, provide a bit of value to the population, are actually going to start issuing some gold coins. The idea being that gold is a bit of a hedge against inflation. It holds its value on the world market as opposed to the worthless paper notes that they are churning out at the moment. So that was a bit of banknotes in the news. The other sort of rumour that has popped up in the last day or two is about Commonwealth Games $2 coins being issued from Woolworths, and I will freely admit I don't know anything about that, so I'm going to hand that over to Catherine so she can let us know what she knows.
Well, there is no official word whatsoever. All I have seen is some posts on Facebook that Woolworths know what's going on, and the date is perhaps the 22nd of July. As Royal Australian Mint distributors, we don't know anything.
If we're going to be getting them, or the release price, or anything like that, we will know probably the last.
Yeah, I guess because we've had Woolworths releases before, then it's likely that we will, but as of yet we've got no official word, so we need to zip up.
Yep, so as soon as we know anything, we will let you know via Facebook. The other thing that popped up this week on a couple of different news networks was coin noodling, and people going to the roll machines at various banks and emptying the roll machines out so that they can look for coloured $2 coins or 5-cent double obverses or whatever it is that they're looking for. And the general tone of the articles was pretty bad, actually, with the general public suggesting that people that are emptying those machines need to think about bank customers that need the money for business and so on. And the general consensus from the public was that if the bank starts charging people for that sort of service, well, too bad, because those people that empty those roll machines are causing a great inconvenience to other members of the public. And I don't know what you think about this, Catherine, but I think if the bank starts charging people for that sort of business or restricting it to business accounts, I don't really have a problem with that, because there's no doubt people that empty those roll machines continually are causing more work for the bank, and certainly us as a business, if we couldn't get change out of the machine that we needed, I wouldn't be particularly happy about that. What do you think about it, Kath?
Well, there's always a cost. You do need to understand that the banks do buy those coins from Armaguard or Prosegur, whatever the case is. They pay them for the service of providing them. So, you can't deny that that's a cost, and that's the cost the bank has to bear, and whether or not that means difference to their profits or that they're just going to charge us, the consumer, at the end.
Yep. I think the common argument from people who do empty those machines out and they're outraged at the idea of being charged or whatever is that the banks make huge profits. But the thing is that they make huge profits by watching their costs, and if you're costing them money, then they're going to start charging you for it. And there's nothing that you can do to stop them. So I guess if you are into coin noodling, then you'd better get while the going is good, because things may well end up changing.
But if you belong to that bank, if they're your bank, if you bank with them, and you've got a friendly relationship with your local bank and they're allowing you to do so, and it's, you know, at a reasonable amount, then, you know, have fun with your noodling by all means.
Yep, that's right. So there is a couple of comments about this particular topic here. Peter Andrews is saying that he always goes into his favourite branch and asks rather than using the machines, and I think, Peter, that's the best approach. And of course that means that you have to go in there during office hours. It also means that you're not necessarily going to get rolls and things over the counter. Often over the counter you will get bags and stuff like that. Paul is saying that he tried asking for bags or rolls over the counter rather than getting rolls from the machines, and the tellers laughed at him. That is a bit unfortunate. I guess it does vary from bank to bank. The bank that we go to regularly does not hand out rolls and mint bags and things like that, simply because there's several shopping centres in the shopping centre that they're in, and they get more than enough change from those retailers that they very rarely order in new coins. But it is all about building up a relationship with your bank and understanding that they have different motivations than what you do.
People do have standing orders with banks.
Consistently, that's right.
You know, each week.
And similarly, you can actually contact the security companies and make standing orders with them, but you realise that there is a cost involved with that. You're not going to get those coins at face value. It's going to cost you something, and the amount that you order each week will have to be probably a significant amount.
But wouldn't that be cool if the Prosegur truck turned up at your house?
I don't think I would want it turning up at my house. I think I might want to meet them somewhere else. Watching security guards unload coins through the front door of my house. So a couple of people here have said to Paul that they should consider changing banks, and that's absolutely right. Experience from bank to bank and branch to branch can vary. We've certainly had troubles with tellers at certain branches before, and, you know, either change banks or find out who the district manager is and make a complaint about that teller to try and get a better service. I think generally banks want to do the best thing by you, but every now and again you'll come across a person who got out of the wrong side of the bed or bought the wrong brand of cereal or something and doesn't want to help you out. Aaron is saying here that he noodles $300 to $400 at a time, small change compared to some of the famous TikTok $10,000 noodlers. Well, I think people like that are the ones that are probably making trouble for the rest of us, Aaron, if they're withdrawing that much money. Right, topic of the week.
Hang on, can I just go one more thing?
Point.
Only just popped up about an hour ago when I was just randomly having a browse at the Royal Australian Mint homepage, and I noticed a picture of a 20-cent piece that's coming up that says Diary of a Wombat. And there's a wombat on the front of the 20-cent piece. It's on the front of the Royal Australian Mint homepage.
Okay.
So as authorised dealers, we're not allowed to speak about that just yet, which is something that is coming up, and we really don't have any information
Is that a follow-on
to
to
say. I would guess, because that is a book, that it would be the follow-on to Animalia from last year. So that's something else. If you want to see a picture of that, pop onto the RAM homepage and you'll see that that picture there.
And if you cast your mind back to the Animalia release from last year, there were 3. I don't know what this one is going to be released as, what form it's going to be released as, but the Animalia release was released in 3 forms. There was a coloured copper nickel 20-cent piece, which you could get on a card or on a book. And then there was also the same coin that was gold-plated that came with a book, and that gold-plated release with the book was very hot and very hard to get hold of.
Lower mintage or something or other.
Yeah. Right, so that's the news for this week. It is much better doing the news with Catherine here to have someone to talk to about it.
Continue on now.
Yes, so we will jump to topic of the week. So we'll just say goodbye to Catherine's head for a minute here. We are going to look at third-party coin grading. This is something that I've done. I did it about a year ago, but I had 3 or 4 people contact me during the week asking me questions about this. Third-party coin grading is basically evaluation of coins by independent third parties. Usually those third parties are not coin dealers themselves. They're a company that's set up purely to evaluate coins. The biggest one that's used here in Australia is PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service. A couple of others you might have seen are NGC and Annex. And I'll just hold up a couple of, you can just hold my mouse for me, a couple of slabs here. So this is a PCGS slab. I'll just cover this up so it focuses a bit better on that. That's a PCGS slab there. So it's a sealed plastic holder with a label that describes what the coin is, and on the reverse there's a serial number and obviously the reverse of the coin and the PCGS logo. The other company that you might see around reasonably frequently here in Australia is this one, which is NGC. Just cover that up there. That's the National Guarantee Corporation. So coin grading has been around since the 1980s, and if any of you are into comics or sports cards, you'll actually know that comics and sports cards can be graded by a third party as well. What's the reason that you would get a coin graded by a third party, Catherine?
Numismatic Guarantee Corporation.
Numismatic Guarantee.
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Now there you go.
Okay. What's the reason you
Yeah.
would get? Well, if you're talking a 1923 halfpenny or a 1930 penny,
Mm-hmm.
then 1946 penny, any sort of key date coin that is faked a lot around the place,
Yep.
then it's authenticity.
Yep.
Is it a real one?
Yep. So that's one reason, is to authenticate a real coin. The other is to remove dealers from the grading process. There's this idea that if I was to buy, just grab a coin at random here, if I was a coin dealer and I was to buy this South African crown over the counter, then I'll try to tell you that it is very fine. And when I sell it, I'll try and tell the person who's buying that it's extremely fine, and that's a way of, I'm not saying that we do this, but it is a way,
adding.
Yeah, it's a way that some less than scrupulous people might try to pad out their profit margins. And by getting a coin in a holder, like these PCGS graded coins here, then there's kind of, it's difficult to argue about what the condition of the coin is when you're buying it and when you're selling it. Now that doesn't stop some dealers from still bickering about what the PCGS or NGC grade is, but
I'll just butt in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if changing the grade of that coin means doing something to it, altering it in some way,
mm-hmm.
Dipping, cleaning, polishing, anything like that, that will be
Yep.
that will be noted on the holder by PCGS
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, that's right. So if you use a legitimate grading company, what you get is a coin that is graded to a standard that grading company tries to apply. Now that doesn't mean that they are infallible, but it certainly means that the consistency of results is a lot better than perhaps grading on coins that you get from a single coin dealer, because there's no doubt that I notice it with myself when I'm grading coins that depending on the time of the day and your mood and and things like that, that you tend to see coins better or worse as your mental state goes up and down. So these third-party grading companies, the reputable ones at least, have processes in place that prevent that sort of variation in the grading from happening frequently. Now, what does it cost? It costs about $35 per coin if you're going to get it done at NGC or PCGS, and you sort of add on shipping and handling on top of that, and the coins will be gone from sort of anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Now, we've mentioned PCGS and NGC a couple of times here. That doesn't stop other people from creating their own grading companies. And I've been around long enough that I've seen a few of them come and go. And this is one that was banned off of the US eBay several years ago. This is the NNC, which is National Numismatic Certification. They were some some guy in America who would just pop basically pocket change or worn out coins into these cheap plastic slabs that he got from China and put a random grade on top of them. And basically eBay, for example, in the US has banned those sorts of third-party slabs. Here in Australia, we had a similar sort of grading company pop up several years ago called APCGS, which was a fairly cheap ploy to try and leverage off of the name of PCGS. And again, this was a single person.
It doesn't even have a barcode on it. Nothing.
No.
It's a pretty early one.
Yeah, this was just a single person in New South Wales that initially at least randomly applied grades to coins. As time went by, I don't know whether his grading became more consistent, but he certainly applied the Sheldon scale in a more appropriate fashion. But
so when you say consistent, a company like the the top tier grading companies, they don't really have any care about what the grade of that coin is. They just apply the rules to every coin the same.
Yep.
So they don't care if it ends up making that coin more valuable or less valuable.
Yep.
Whereas if someone else is putting coins in holders, making them look pretty, selling them at some predetermined grade of their own, then
if you're selling it, because I mean this gentleman who did this, he was a coin dealer as well, so you've got an immediate conflict of interest when that happens. If you're grading and selling your own coins, then that idea of I'll just pump up the grade a bit to try and make a bit more money invariably taints the grades that you apply. So what Catherine was saying about the processes that they use, PCGS for example, each coin is evaluated by two separate graders independently, and if those two graders do not arrive at the same grade, and the grade is determined by PCGS's internal grading standards, then there's a third grader that acts as a tiebreaker. And from what I understand, once the coin is actually holded and put in this plastic holder, it actually undergoes a third sanity check grade while it's in that holder before it gets released from PCGS. So that's sort of some of the more basic steps that they take to ensure that the coin is graded as consistently as they can achieve. Now, we did talk...
It's just a long wait.
It is a very long wait. Now, what have you done with my mouse? Now, Catherine did mention a couple of reasons about why why you would get a coin graded, but we'll just pop up this slide here because there's a couple of other reasons here. So the first one there is to actually preserve and protect a coin. So these PCGS holders, NGC holders, Annex holders, they do provide a degree of mechanical protection to the coin, so you can drop them and you might damage the holder, but you're probably not going to damage the coin. Now, is that an important thing? Absolutely. If you've got a valuable coin, a silver coin or something like that that's worth $500 or $600, and you drop it and put a great big rim nick in it or a big rim bump, you can easily wipe off hundreds of dollars of value in just through a bit of clumsiness.
And that's happened
many
times.
Yeah, it absolutely has happened. So the second one there is what Catherine talked about, was the assurance of authenticity. So, PCGS and NGC are pretty good at picking fake coins or altered coins, even to the point where if they are not sure, they will not hold a coin. They really put a lot of importance behind the coins once they put into their holders to get an assurance of grade. So a good example of an assurance of grade would be a 1923 halfpenny. They're I guess a more valuable coin. They're not too difficult to pick fake ones, but again, they are a coin that is the value is extremely dependent on the grade. So the difference in value between a fine coin and a very fine coin is $1,000 or thereabouts. So having that grade on the holder just gives you as a collector an assurance of the grade of the coin that you've got. Now, the fourth one here was recognizing top quality coins, and that is I guess more something along the lines of grading of sports cards and things like that, where people actually get modern coins graded. So I don't know if you want to talk about the registry sets for $2 coins and things like that, and just explain what they are.
Well, people actually want to get the best coin. They don't just want an example of that coin, they want the best coin, and there's a market for that, and there's collectors that'll pay more for, for example, an MS67 coin over an MS65 coin. It's a better coin. It's got less ticks, less bag marks. It's a better strike. It's got no oil strike through, or and people put together registry sets to try and get the top or the best graded coins that they can, and there's a bit of a competition on the PCGS website, and you can upgrade your own coin, and then you move up the ladder a little bit, and
Yep.
It's all just a bit of fun, although
Yep.
very serious fun.
Yeah, that's right. And what sort of serious fun? An issue that is available at MS68 may well sell for $100, but if there's only perhaps one or two at MS69, then you could be talking thousands of dollars for those coins. The price can easily go up by a factor of 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 if there are very few coins graded at a particular grade. And here in Australia, just in the last sort of 10 years, we've seen evidence of that, but certainly in America for a very long time, people have been paying tens of thousands of dollars for top pop means the highest graded coins, tens of thousands of dollars for a top pop coin, and a coin just 1 point lower might only be worth $30. So this is how serious some of these people take this sort of stuff. The last reason why you might get a coin graded is to actually identify an error or a variety. So you can send coins to PCGS and NGC as errors, and they will attribute the error for you, hopefully. The cost of that is quite a bit higher. So PCGS is about $110 to $120. NGC is quite a bit cheaper than that. I guess here in Australia, not a lot of people get NGC errors attributed, not that I've really noticed. PCGS seems to be the service of choice. So this,
I believe NGC is a lot cheaper.
yeah, I believe it is too. So this is an example. I'll just cover this light up here. This is an example of a coin that has been attributed as an error by PCGS. So I'm not sure how clear that is, but I'll just read out what that says there. It says mint error PCGS MS63 Australia struck on 10-cent planchet. So it's a $1984 that has been struck on a 10-cent planchet. So that's another reason why.
Is that mine?
No, that's not yours. That's another reason why you might get a coin graded. Certainly in the error market, having a coin in a holder like that makes it more liquid, and by liquid I mean it makes it easier to sell. You're not necessarily going to get more money for it, but it gives people assurances that the error is a real one and not something that is just made up by the person who is trying to sell it.
Sean's asked a really good question there, and it opens up a
Do you want to just read out that question?
very big can of worms. Is it true the $2001 mule can be graded at normal cost, not as error? Yes, it can be. It's been given a coin number by PCGS. You can look up the population for those graded, and it's not graded as an error coin. And that opens up the idea of error versus variety. Of course, a mule is a variety, although a lot of the times it's called an error.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, once PCGS classify a coin type as a variety, even though perhaps it's not exactly a variety, then it can be graded at the normal price. So in the Australian series, there's the mule, the wavy baseline, 20-cent piece.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any other decimals. There's the various mint marks for Australian coins, such as the 1966 London and Canberra 20-cent pieces, the 1981 3.5 claw. So none of those actually cost any more to get graded than a normal coin.
So another point, just going back to your recognition of top quality coins and talking about the mule there, is that you can look up you can use that coin number and look up the population graded by PCGS, and then you can see if the AU58 coin that you're looking to purchase is actually a good coin. You might see that there's X number of MS62s, MS63s, MS64s, and think, well, the population's quite high there, I might just wait for a better coin to come along.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look at some of the questions. We'll jump back to the noodling questions once we've finished with this topic, but we'll just have a look at some of the questions here. Brendan says quite rightly that NGC has graded over 612,000 coins. I don't know if that's Australian coins or coins in total. I suspect it's Australian coins. 612,000 doesn't sound like enough for the total number that they have graded. I think PCGS has graded over 40 million.
They're a bit more well known for ancients
and world coins. The NGC is much better known for non-US coin grading. Paul says he's had a few coins go astray. They were sent for grading to PCGS. Was lucky that the dealer replaced them, but it left them a bit shy about them getting graded. Right. So that opens up an interesting topic, is about whether you want to send coins off to get graded yourself or use someone else. You can sign up as an NGC or ANAX or PCGS member and send coins directly to them yourselves. Requires a fair bit of paperwork and messing around, but you are in control of the whole process. Alternatively, you can use an authorised dealer to control that process for you, and there are some real advantages for that, and Paul has just hit on one of those, that sometimes those dealers will provide insurance or a guarantee that those coins will not be lost, and also they obviously take care of all of that paperwork. And the other big advantage that they have is that their rates are usually a lot less than what you can get yourself as a normal PCGS member. Yes, agree with that.
Yes.
The other really big advantage, and I did have a phone conversation about this with someone last week, is that if you've got problems for PCGS, those authorised dealers are much more likely to get a response from PCGS than you are. So it is worthwhile thinking about using an authorised dealer. And here in Australia, there's two big authorised dealers that I can think of, and that's Eric Eigner at Drake Sterling Coins, and then the Michael Cotton up at Imperial. Are they Imperial Coins or Imperial Numismatics? You know, I can't, whatever they are up in Queensland. And also a mention to Jeff Heidemann, who I also believe sends coins for other people at Cockatoo Coins. We don't send coins for other people, so if you do ask us, we'll just refer you on to Eric, because that's who we tend to use. Right. David Trotter, that's another noodling question. We'll go back to those. Can you outline how you package the coins to send to PCGS? Yeah, you just pop them into a safe flip, Aaron, and
there's really good information on their website. You probably don't need to go through it all. Yeah,
and just talk to, if you're going to use Imperial or Eric or Jeff Heidemann, just talk to them about how they want those coins packaged, but generally you just pop them into a safe flip. That's all that's needed. Don't seal the safe flip. Sean Dowling says error coins are more expensive to get graded. Yeah, that's right. They're about 3 or 4 times the cost of a normal coin. And Peter Andrews says he was bitten by NNC graded coins. I'm sorry to hear that, Peter, but as I said, I believe that eBay in the US only now allows ANAX, PCGS and NGC graded coins on their platform. And there's a few comments there about the APCGS grading, and yep, I'll just leave those comments there. Anyone who's interested can go back and read the comments on Facebook. David Trotter says if you're sending via a dealer, they will tell you how to package them, which is exactly what we just said. And David Trotter is also saying that it's important to point out that the same grade for 2 coins doesn't necessarily mean the same price. Yeah, that's a good point. So the grade that PCGS and NGC apply to a coin is a good starting point, and in some regards they do allow for easier trade, but I would still want to see any coins that are assigned a grade just for eye appeal and things like that.
You're talking about pennies with red designations get a much higher price.
But you could get a 64 red penny with a fingerprint and without a fingerprint, and they could have exactly the same grade, and one obviously may have more eye appeal than the others. Right, so we'll just wrap that grading topic up there, and we'll just go back to the noodling. Those of you who have joined in a bit late, we talked about the banks not being happy about coin noodlers emptying out the change machines. Someone up the top here, and I'll just see if I can find them, made a good point about TikTokers bringing in new people to the hobby through their coin noodling. And you know, that is always a good thing that they're doing that, but just remember that these social media people are often doing it for commercial purposes, and that's ad views and things like that. So you know, just like us, like we want to bring new people to the hobby, but obviously we have a commercial interest in a lot of things that we do, and those TikTokers are the same. And someone did mention the fact that a lot of those noodlers are profiteers. I have done enough coin noodling in my time to know that coin noodling is not profitable. It's a lot of hard work, and it's finding a lot of varieties that no one wants to buy. Now, I know that some people have done very well out of it, finding double-headed 5-cent pieces and mules and things like that, but they are very much the exception. We certainly have a lot of coin noodlers that come in here that it is hard work for not a lot of return. Now, is there any other noodling questions here that we missed? I don't think there was. Right, I think we'll wind it up there today. I think I'd like you all to join me and thank Catherine for coming in today. It's nice to have someone here in the room with us when we're doing this, and to hear her outlook on things. So thank you, Catherine.
Were you lonely?
Me? No,
You've
I'm never
been
lonely
lonely.
with all of these people out there that talk to me. So thank you, Catherine, for joining us today, and hopefully she'll join us again at some point in the near future. Thank you, everyone, for taking part today and all the comments and so on. And please stay safe in this odd world at the moment. Happy coin collecting, and we'll be back next week at the same time with another topic. Bye for now.